Alright, hey, welcome to another edition of Runbuck on Games. I'm Runbuck. This time we're going to be taking a look at a training format. What that means is I'm going to try to, in a given day or whatever time period, focus on a specific aspect of the game and try to practice just that. So in this case, today what I looked at was attacks. The first attack you do out of a full elixir build. So like right at the beginning of the game or in the middle of a game, like where everybody's kind of set back from it to get up to 10 elixir. What kind of attack sequences should you do? How should you go at it? What do you got to think about? So that's what I was kind of practicing and playing with today. I'm going to show you 3 attacks. You can see them here. The first one that I'll hit is a mass rage attack by Arian. But I guess before I do get into that, there's Arian right there. What this scribble over here shows you is that there's the 3 areas. 1, 2, 3. That's the 3 attacks. The line is basically, imagine that's the gap in your playing field. The 2 lanes are left and right. And then the letters and numbers tell you the sequence of the play. So like in this case, the first one we're going to see is a Goblin Hut's going to be deployed first, then Tesla in the opposite lane second, then a Barbarian Hut third, then a Rocket fourth, followed by a Minion Horde fifth, and then counter with the Barbarians, and then an Expo flipped on the Prince, and then an Expo on the backside, right? So that's basically tells you the sequence of timing back and forth, and then you can kind of look at it and say, well, how did that work? Why did it happen? So we'll see if this format works out. Let's give a look at Arian here and see if it gives us any insights. So he starts, and primarily all I'm going to talk about is the beginning part, and then we'll just let it run. But again, we're walking through this first attack, I think. So here comes the Goblin Hut, right? So then the Tesla's countered. I'm going to call this it's like the hidden Tesla, the forgotten Tesla, because he of course will continue to press on his main lane, right? And so I rocket that opportunity. Both those huts happen to be what happened. But we want him to build in this lane because what we're doing is watch how long this Tesla's going to hang out over here. It's almost like it's a forgotten. The opponent will think it's something you did by mistake. And I did this on purpose. I wanted to see if they would let me leave it over there and then be able to swing back to it with my Expo. And sure enough, it turns out it did. So there, we're now at the Minion Horde 5. He's going to counter with a Barbarian 6. So he's going to stay in the same lane? Or no, he didn't. Where's the Barbarian 6? But anyway, there's the Prince 7 and the Expo 8. Maybe I missed the Barbarian 6 earlier. But so then see how the Tesla, even with a minute later in the attack, because I dropped the Tesla at step 2, a minute later in the attack, we're still there. And look at that double power that I have on the double Teslas. So it becomes like a dominant, and then I win it. I end up winning off of this. And so what I was curious about was, as I looked at that, was kind of counting out the elixir cost of the different pieces. So like Goblin Hut is 5. Whoops. Gotta get the right marker here. The Goblin Hut is 5 elixir. And then the Rocket is 6, I think. Yep. The Tesla's 4. Yep. And so you should know all these numbers, by the way. And Barbarian Hut is 6. 7. Yikes. Barbarians are 5. I know that for sure. Minion Horde is 5. Prince is 6. No, he's 5. And an Expo is 6. Right? And so notice the math that kind of happens, right? So at this point, when he plays the Goblin Hut and I play the Tesla, I'm +1. And then when he comes back and we play, but the biggest thing to see off that is that we're really even at that point on elixir, right? So it's an even point. And then when he comes back with his Barbarian Hut right out there, which is a huge investment of 7, right? And it allows me to go to the Rocket. I'm up +2 at this point at the Rocket point, right? And then so when we then get to step 4 and I do the Minion Horde, his counter to that, which is the Barbarians, I'm still +2 when he's here. He's -2, I guess is what you'd call it. And then that allows me to very quickly run over here and do an 11 push on him for these 2 parts, which is where he dies. And the Tesla was still there. So it was a really interesting opening to me, at least I thought, of how by acting like you were trying to go to a lane and giving up on it, but in reality they needed to go out and take that defense down when it's in that position. It's almost like fainting to the lane and then like spending like that 6 moves. It was almost a minute time before I came back to it. So it's one thing you might try. Now here's another one. We'll call that one the Forgotten Tesla. Let's go back to the main menu here. And the next one I want to look at is Hamba. Let's see here. There he is. Hamba. So Hamba, let's see if we can do this. So it's going to be Baby Dragon countered by a Knight Barbarian Prince, because the Baby Dragon's pretty big, and then he's going to try to push that back with the Spear Goblin's Minion Horde, but it'll be too late. So let's take a look at that. And the Baby Dragon is, I think, 6, right? Nope, 4. It's cheap. So when he opens with the dragon, bring it down, Hamba. There you go. And so this is where I'm really trying to shift toward with the full elixir attack sequences. Is that you want to push. You got to push off that. You can't sit back. I was finding myself losing too much. So there's a nice build up of King, Knight, Barbarian, Prince. Notice how the sequence of timing also is from slowest to fastest to allow them to flip over and get in the right order. And by the time his groups could take it out, it's all over but the Cryan. And I think Knight's 3, Barbarian we already saw was 5, the Prince we know is 5. And so look at all the time he gave me. It was weird that he allowed me this much time to come through. I think by the time he knew that he was in trouble and he was pondering, he saw that, and by the time he saw it, he was like, oh crap, right? I was basically at 0 once this was deployed. I had nothing. He had, and so the only thing he had was a Spear Goblins. He tried to slow it down. Too much mass though, because the Spear Goblins are 4, right? 2, jeez, and the Minion Horde is 5. So see, he never even really caught up with my my investment of money. He just didn't have the right cards. It's almost worth going back and taking a look at that again. Let's take a look at what he had and maybe what he was thinking. So the only thing I don't like about their replay is that you can't scroll back. So we'll go quicker this time to the beginning. So here he goes, Baby Dragon to Knight. And what we're curious about is why didn't he press at this point? So there's the Knight. He's almost full. He's at 8. Barbarians are down. So now he knows I'm committed to the lane. So he's either got to respond to the lane. He's 2 away from being full. I'm at 4. Because my Barbarian, that cost to me right now, I'm at 8. He's at 4. So you can see, voila, 4 down, right? So he should be playing something big. But he's got all little cards. He's got a bunch of little, he's got Goblins, Spear Goblins, Goblin Barrel. Nothing really exciting. So he's a light troop fighter, which makes sense because he, I don't know if that makes sense or not. Let's keep going. So he doesn't know what to do. So he drops that. Now he's got Hogs. So really he's got nothing to stop a mass push in. Nothing to really burn it down. I mean, the Minion Horde's pretty good at burning stuff down, but not at that clip. The other thing you got to notice is that notice how I gave up. In the other lane, what you're going to do in all these attacks is you got to give to get. You're going to fake one lane and you're going to let them get into it a little bit while pushing the one where he's not at. And you're going to have to give up a little damage, but at the last moment save the other building as he panics, realizing he's losing his main one. The guy you don't want to face is the guy that we'll look at one more. You don't want to face the guy that actually commits to the other lane and we just basically trade towers. That's not what you want. You want the guy that'll freak out a little bit. So the last one is PEKKA. Last time in all these I was specifically thinking about how to push and open and practice different feelings. So in PEKKA's case, let's look at the notations here. It's going to go, I'm going to open with Barbarian. He's going to counter with PEKKA. Holy smokes. I know that number right out of the top of my head. So he's going to go, oh, I hate it when I do that. He's going to go with, I'm going to open with 5. He's going to open with 7, which is going to let me, as soon as I recognize this PEKKA with the drop of the 7, I realize I can go big because he's low on elixir. So I drop the Expo, which is 6, which he then counters with a Witch, which is 6 as well, right? No, it's 5. Okay. But at that point, I'm +1. So I go Minion Horde, and he comes back with Tesla. So let's see how that plays out. But the big thing I thought that was interesting here was that the recognition of when he drops the big unit. And you'll see a lot of guys that open with PEKKA, right? They'll drop the PEKKA in the back and dare you to do something. Well, clearly you got to go off lane, and so you just begin your push and make them regret, force them to not that they can't mass to the lane or have to make a decision about massing to the lane. So like right here, he sees I've got Barbarian Expo. He knows he's either got to get in on my Expo, but both these troops are slow-moving troops, right? So it's almost the counter to all these guys that like to do PEKKA Witch or Giant Witch, all those slow build plays. If you've got an opening off full elixir that's basically pushing in our lane with quick troops that are massed, you can basically come back after you're done. Notice, just with one Tesla, with a 4-unit Tesla in the off lane, right? This guy right here. All I needed was that to hold off his entire 4 held off 12, right? Long enough, right? Just long enough for me to get to 1306. So it's an interesting thing. I'm still playing with it, but so my challenge to you would be and I'd be interested in your comments, is to practice or do skirmishes specifically thinking about when you get to full elixir, doing a coordinated push or a misdirection push like that Tesla play that we did with number 1. This one here, right here, that guy was the Tesla play. See if you can get that where they forget about it. You'll get a good chuckle out of it if you do. Anyway, good times. We'll speed it up so you can see the end of this though. So at this point, I'm just messing with him. I almost end up losing it with he pushes in and rages me, and I have to come back and hold him off. And I've been seeing a lot of that rage action. Mass unit under rage, push to a tower, like so they'll have 2 hut, triple hut, rage, and with those you just got to keep hammering them to where they can't get their huts going. Anyway, hope it helps. I find it very interesting. We'll do some other training series like this where I focus on one thing in a given day, and then I show you 3 examples of my practice, my training, and then maybe you can comment back and share some of yours or your experiences with it. Talk to you later, guys.
What am I gonna do? My clan sucks. Hey, it's JTJ.
I think that's an all-out attack.
No, it's the legendary JTJU. JTJU. What? I like my horn. You and this army. Download Clash of Clans for free. Then subscribe to JTJU and win.